Hello and welcome to another IoT Central webinar. I'm David O'Hara and I'm the Managing Director at IoT Central. Today's webinar is sponsored by Telit Cinterion. Telit Cinterion is a leading supporter of the IoT Central community and we're grateful to have them as sponsors. This webinar is titled Better Outcomes with Remote Patient Monitoring. Our speaker today is Carsten Brockmann, Vertical Segment Manager at Telit Cinterion. Let's get started.
Thanks a lot, David, for the invitation. I'm so happy to talk about my favorite topic today. With Edge AI, medical IoT and connected systems, we here at Telit Cinterion are revolutionizing healthcare to create a trusted, secure and patient-centric future. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed our world forever. Healthcare is rapidly transforming, leveraging technologies such as private LTE and advanced 5G networks. Today, I like to share with you how medical IoT enables better outcomes, better health outcomes for patients, and better financial outcomes for healthcare providers. So let me say a few words about our company. Telit has merged with the Cinterion IoT business of Thales in January 2023. Telit Cinterion helps to connect and manage 1 million new IoT devices every week. We are the largest Western IoT module vendor and a leading enabler of digital transformation. We are providing secure IoT solutions that focus on advisory approach for business-critical and mission-critical IoT projects. We are uniquely positioned to simplify and accelerate the customer IoT journey with all the components of our enhanced portfolio. Turnkey solutions, innovative modules, reliable global connectivity, and device management platforms that are smart and secure. From our 1,200 employees, 50% have an engineering background, including myself. Our headquarters is in the US, with 6 R&D centers in major Western countries. And this summer, we started to expand our manufacturing capabilities to India to strengthen global supply chain resilience. Now let's turn the page to the connected healthcare ecosystem. With patient centricity in mind, all health actors are connecting in a new way. Pharmaceuticals and clinical research organizations are using medtech for remote patient monitoring to run decentralized clinical trials. The medtech companies themselves are turning into healthcare providers using cloud systems which can be used by the healthcare professionals to serve patients around the globe 24/7. This new architecture is being served by the payers, the insurance companies, with new policies, and regulators are setting up a framework for all of that to come to life. Earlier this year, Berg Insight came up with data analysis of the market in a very comprehensive way, 250 pages, that showed that 65 million medical devices are connected and active and moving into 126 million devices by 2027. 50% of those are connected through 4G or 5G mobile networks. Our market share is almost 40% and is made up mostly by use cases in sleep apnea, in cardiac arrhythmia and diabetes support. On top of this, we do see emerging use cases such as decentralized clinical trials, personalized medicine, medical drones, first responder communication, care robots, and remote surgery. For the medical IoT benefits, let's take a quick look at a case study made in the UK with remote monitoring in care homes. The study showed that the use of remote patient monitoring technology helped to reduce emergency department attendance by more than 10% and almost 30% reduced readmissions, more than 10% reductions in length of stay. Quite an achievement. Let's take a look at the technologies used at remote patient monitoring. There's a timeline associated. Before the pandemic, we have seen a lot of one by one solutions. One treatment, one device, one caregiver. with the pandemic, while patients had to stay at home and out of the hospitals, to use a lot of ad hoc solutions such as wearables to give their data to the associated physicians. But what about the cybersecurity with all these wearable solutions? Since then, we have seen that cellular-based direct-to-cloud solutions enable a medical-grade solution with the same data-sharing economy, providing real-world evidence in decentralized clinical trials for personalized medicine and digital therapies. For selecting the right mobile technology in remote patient monitoring, you should look at two dimensions. One, obviously, is the speed, and the other thing is how 4G will evolve into 5G. 4G is the most available mobile technology around the world, and it is here to stay. But 5G will allow new advanced features, particularly with ultra-reliable low-latency communication, as well as with slicing and other virtualized functions that have a very specific use in medical IoT. To be more specific about 4G and 5G technology adoption in remote patient monitoring, take a look at this 4G and 5G chart. Glucose monitoring, for example, needs samples once a day, and LTE, CADM or narrowband IoT are optimal because they even can be used in battery-driven devices. For sleep apnea, though, there is a need also for more and better observation by the caregiver, so that a real-time monitoring with Cat1 and Cat1 bis is the most used technology in this area. But when you go to cardiac arrhythmia, where caregivers might have to observe a patient at home to see if there is a cardiac arrest or if what the actual situation is in the home hospital, and if they need to send ambulance, they might want to even take samples of the heart rate and the EEC of the remote device. And for that, LTE Cat4 is a more used technology in that area. Moving forward into 5G networks, we will see adoption of home hospital and real hospital use cases that can make use of the advanced features. With 5G RedCap, we take the capabilities of Cat1 and Cat4 technologies and 4G, but adopt also the virtualization, for instance, with health slices in 5G. And with higher speeds and even with ultra low latency communication, we will see medical drones and care robots, as well as the wireless emergency room and operation room to emerge by using these 5G capabilities. With all the new remote patient monitoring solutions coming into market, we see a rise in attacks. Cybersecurity readiness is mandated by medical device regulators, such as the US FDA and the EU MDR, as well as the International Medical Device Regulators Forum. The global mandate becomes clearer and clearer. Connected medical devices must have state-of-the-art cybersecurity, post-market security updates, and a trusted software bill of material. In response, we at Telit Cinterion offer cybersecurity for connected medical devices, and all starts with security by design, which means secure model identities, module security penetration testing, and the integration support is what we offer, as well as functionalities and services such as a secure key store in the module, secure boot capabilities, jamming detection and firewalls, the updates that are protected, and the credential preloading, handling and management are key elements of our offer. which are advanced also with cloud platform offerings for managing the secure software and the hosting and a secure lifecycle management for the final device to be ready for approval. Let me show you how we activate cybersecurity in practice. Our next connectivity service in 4G is a core element of the network that connects to major global network operators through application points or APNs that securely connect the remote device with IPsec communication to national EHR systems, clinical backend systems, or third-party digital care clouds, fully secured end-to-end. And here is another example of how we adopt cybersecurity in 5G, and it is with 5G health slices. Our partner, the 6G Health Institute in Germany, has built a 5G campus network that uses 5G slices.
Currently, there is a huge demand in the market for networked medical devices. My name is Christoph Tümmler and I'm the Chief Medical Officer of the 6G Health Institute in Leipzig in Germany. We're looking at medical technologies and network technologies that help us to improve medicine in the future. I think this is very important that we get the right quality of service in the network, and in particular with 5G technology.
I'm Hartmut Glück. I'm supporting the 6G Health Institute in Leipzig to deploy the campus network, which will be built off a technology called slicing, which is one of the first in Germany.
With that setup, they can roam freely and secure from a patient, from an ambulance, into the emergency room, into the clinical campus, but also back into the home hospital, because they connect to the public health slice of Telefonica in this case. So this is an example of how care can be provided anywhere while protecting data privacy across the patient journey. But also let me share with you a concrete success story in remote patient monitoring, our largest client actually. They enable 20 million people to have a better and safe sleep every night because they suffer from sleep apnea. These 4G connected medical devices provide connected health services around the globe in 3 dimensions. Caregivers can monitor the health outcomes securely, patients can receive medical recommendations, and the insurers can track the usage of the device for device reimbursement. What a wonderful success. So what are the key takeaways for a secure medical IoT in remote patient monitoring? I think, first of all, the ease of medical device use for outpatients and the elderly at home is critical to enable a secure and direct touch with the caregiver community. Secondly, patient data privacy matters most wherever data travels. And finally, always-on connectivity is paramount for critical care at home, as well as for acute health emergencies. That's it for me. Back to you, David.
Well, thank you, Carsten. That was very interesting. I have a few questions for you. Could you discuss costs associated with the ROI on implementing IoT solutions in healthcare?
Sure. I mean, I showed you an example of the reduced hospital admission cost in that UK case study. And actually, the typical amortization times are weeks or months. And then there's a downstream benefit of inpatient cost savings dramatically. But that's only one thing. The other benefits is actually for the national health systems, which comes from reimbursement schemes. So the adoption of remote patient monitoring devices by doctors and their patients is rising if there is insurers reimbursement. And at the same time, the costs for having the patient in the hospital or in the physician's office is going down. So with the injection of reimbursement as it happens in the US and across Europe, it's a dramatic cost benefit for the national health cost. But let me also point out one benefit when it comes to the pharmaceuticals who are using more and more remote patient monitoring technology for their decentralized clinical trials. And so they actually can benefit from better adherence to the trials by the patient cohorts and reduce costs for having all the patients coming in for the traditional clinical trials. So there is ROI benefits across the spectrum of the healthcare ecosystem.
I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, what are the challenges with implementing IoT solutions for RPM? And is there a way to minimize or mitigate or overcome those?
Yeah, I think we looked at earlier into the many app to cloud type of variable solutions that were developed, particularly in the pandemic. Those are seeing now a lot of barriers by policymakers in terms of not meeting the expected cybersecurity standards. And here's obviously breakthrough through these barriers if you use direct to cloud technology. So where you have end-to-end secured remote patient monitoring devices that are connected to clinical health systems or national electronic health systems, where the go-to market is much faster because of not using siloed variable solutions that take time and cost. In another area of barrier is here that typically there are vendor-specific devices that have a one-to-one relationship, and but going into more patient-centric solution, the device interoperability becomes really nightmare for the healthcare providers, but also for the clinical backend systems. And but that can be solved by using integration software that comes to market in various facets across the globe, by using specific standards in terms of the device data and the issuance through FHIR standards, for instance, to have a harmonization of the various device-specific data communication protocols. So there are technical possibilities to break through these barriers.
So, that's the implementation, but you talked about 4G and 5G. What's the right time to move over to 5G designs?
Yeah. To be honest, we see that there are specific use cases that can be served by current 4G networks. And we also looked into some of the 5G specific use cases. To be honest, 4G has currently a much better footprint, much better network ability, both in the CAT-M, but also in the CAT-1, CAT-1 bis, and in the higher speeds that can serve the traditional use cases very easily today. But those specific 5G use cases, as we talked about care robots, we talked about medical drones, we talked about replacing the cabling within the emergency rooms and the operation rooms, where you use features of standalone 5G networks, such as ultra reliable low latency, but also healthcare slices that 5G can offer as a virtualized service. All those will become potentially available for pilots in 2024, but timing for mass rollouts, I do not see them before 2024 happening. So design efforts should really look into how to apply the right use case with the right 4G or 5G technology.
Okay. Well, you've given us a lot of information. Do you have any final thoughts you can leave our viewers with?
Absolutely. I mean, we have been here at Telit Cinterion, we are focusing on the patient to own the journey of his health. And he should sit in the driver's seat. We should enable the patient to share the data whom he wants to share it with, be it the pharmacist, the clinic, his insurance company, or just his family. That's my vision of medical IoT.
Well, Carsten, this was really great. I want to really thank you from all of us at IoT Central for being on today.
Thanks, David, for having me.
Thanks again, Carsten, and a special thank you to Telit Cinterion for their sponsorship. This brings our webinar to a close. You can find more webinars at iotcentral.io. Thank you for watching.